GMO foods are genetically modified foods. GMO stand for genetically modified organisms, or in this case, food. So what happens is that they create hybrid food from, not the normal process that so it can be injectable, created food from the lab. So for instance, let's say pepper. That's why when you go to supermarkets, you see all these big Irish potatoes, and then they are neat. What they do is that they find they are genetically modified. So that means they inject stuff to make them either bigger, fresher, or multiply faster. And even if they are planting, they still use like genetically modified, say, fertilizers and all that. And that genetically modified things, those chemicals are bad for human beings. They are carcinogens. They are things that can cause cancer. And this food, the nutrition value is not as high as when they are planted in the ground. Do you get? So simply put, genetically modified food are foods that are grown in the labs, and chemicals are used. And when they say they genetically modify something, the thing is not its original state again. It has been modified in a way that sometimes is better. It's just that the chemical used in modifying them genetically now, those things are dangerous. They cause cancer. That's why you see that in outside the country, US, they have the highest rate of cancer, because most of their foods are GMO foods. And that's why you see some people in outside the country, they want to go and buy foodstuffs from African stores, because at least then they can be sure that those ones are grown on the ground, and those ones are expensive. That's why you see food cheap outside the country. Chicken, their chicken are modified. Fruits, vegetables, they are all genetically modified. So there's always food. So in a way, they want to use it to stop the poverty and hunger, but also it has its dangers. So that's why people are all riled up about it. Yes, it makes food available in large quantities, but the question is, how you have to choose between a greater evil and a lesser evil. That's the case now. That's why there's so much debate. It's some sort of a conundrum. GMO makes food very plenty, so poverty and lack of food is reduced, but then sicknesses and are increased. So Nigeria, we have not successfully been able to surmount our communicable disease, that's cholera, all those other things that can be transmitted from one person to the other. We're still struggling. Other countries have moved past communicable disease, and now they are challenging or trying to solve non-communicable disease like cancer, diabetes, and others. But we have not even been able to totally conquer communicable disease. And now going into GMO foods will cause an increase in non-communicable disease, which means we're now fighting it from two angles. So there's a larger context to it why people are arguing about it. Yes, food is good to eat, but how good is this food? And on the long term, does it cause our children to have more autism, more diabetes, more cancer? You get? So I think it's a bit of a conundrum. The two sides has points, but we have to choose now. Are we okay to choose the lesser evil, or we want to choose the greater evil? This is an interesting topic for me. So as a country, how do we balance this? So you see, for me, most people believe that, right, we have not gotten there yet. And this is something I've always talked about. Right? We are going fast to go on that global stage before the time is ripe. So, for instance, before Americans got to the point where they can even replicate food in the lab, like genetically modified food, they suffered. They found a way to get a system. At least then it was slaves. God have mercy. Then it was slave to farm, to germinate plants, grow plantation and all that. They were farming first. They didn't just go to genetically modified organisms. They were farming. They were farming. They went through the motion. They learned how to farm, replicate a system, and that period, it was what they farmed that sustained them. So in that period, they grew. They started fighting infection, diseases. They were able to fight their communicable disease and reduced it, right? And now they are in non-communicable disease because from the genetically modified food they started making, they started having people that have cancer. And now they have top research centers that can even help with this cancer and all that. But we Nigerians, have we gotten there? We have not gotten there yet. The problem is, if we had even gotten to the point in our healthcare system where we have even been able to totally conquer like this communicable disease now, and non-communicable diseases are rising, and we're trying to find a way around it, I would have even said, okay, we're at the point where we are capable, because the result of this genetically modified organism that people are scared about is health, or we have a strong, robust health system, then we can say, okay, let's just venture into it. But we haven't. And this 90% of people that don't want to farm is because the country is not making that aspect or that career enticing. It's just like teaching. How many people want to go into the education sector? How many people now, say, how many people want to even be an academia? I am a master student that is currently doing her PhD. And there are people into content creation, into some other small things that are making money more than me. And some of them are even employing people that are masters, if you remember the thing that happened with Pella. So when you want to make something, people go into something, you make it enticing. Let there be robust programs for agriculture for young people. Make it look enticing like other countries. Before America started doing genetically modified food, agriculture was something that people wanted to go into because there was money, there was opportunities, but that's not how it is now. So we cannot now say that, oh, people don't want to farm. It's not yielding. Even the people that farm, look at insecurity. So we have systemic things around us that will not make us to benefit from this GMO like the people outside the country. So if we've been able to handle our systems, then GMO coming in will not even be so much as a trouble for us. But now we already have a lot of things ravaging us. Then including GMO is going to cause the height of problems for us. That's what I think. Oh. So I think that people don't think that everything is intersectable. Like there's intersection between everything. Like now I'm talking about health. We're talking about agriculture, I've brought health. We're talking about agriculture, we've brought employment. So if we can be able to solve problems across every system, then there are some systems that will benefit from it. So I don't even think we are there yet. I don't think we're there yet. I don't really think we're there yet.